Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial we are going to look at how to convert text to speech in C++. Also the method I'm going to show you here, it's so easy, so simple that even if you're a beginner or you're just starting out coding C++, you can very easily do it. So now let's get started without any further ado. So the first thing you need to do is basically install Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is just an IDE for coding, C++, C#, Java, etc, etc. So many languages are there, Python and all. So just install that one. But one thing you have to make sure of is that if you just go in the individual components while you're installing, or you can even modify the installation. So go to the individual components, search for CLI, and make sure this option is checked right here. The C++ CLI support for whatever version build tools, and it should have this bracket right here with latest in it. You can select any one of these right here actually, but this is the latest version, so it's better to install this one. And after that, just click on install or modify, or whatever button is right here, install or modify, and you should be good to go. So after Visual Studio has been installed on your system, open up Visual Studio and you should see something like this. So let's start by creating a new project. So just click on create new project, and also make sure that out of all of these languages C++ is selected. It's not mandatory, but it helps in sorting out some stuff. And then after, search for CLR. Now you'll see 5 project templates right here. We are going to select CLR empty project .NET framework. Don't select .NET, select .NET framework and click on next. Now you have to give this project a name. So we are going to give it, for now, speech recognition tutorial. I'm just going to give it that name. You can give it a different name actually if you want, but I'm just giving it that name. And the select framework 4.8 or whatever latest version is there, just select that. Select the location, and this toggle is optional right here, but if you only want to work with a single project in your solution, then just click on that. And now let's just click on create right here. Now our project is fully created and is ready to go. Now the first thing we'll do is right click on the header files and click on add a new item. So in the Visual C++ section, just click on the UI section right here, click on Windows Form and just give it a name. So we are going to give it speech recognition tutorial. Now you can give it any name you want, the names don't matter at all, and just click on add. Alright, so after you have added the header file, it will also create a C++ file with the same name, and you may see this error right here, which is very easy to fix actually. What you need to do is just right click on your project right here, not on the solution, on the project, and click on properties. Here go to linker and then go down to advanced and define an entry point. So we are going to give it an entry point main. Now this entry point can be anything actually, but I recommended keeping it main. Then go to system and select a subsystem. The subsystem should be Windows, and click on apply and OK. And now just right click on the project and unload the project and save it if it asks you. And now right click and reload project. Now the icon of the header file should change as well a little, and now just double click on the header file. And now it should give you a designer right here with a lot of tools. But still, if you try to run it, it will not run. So basically you need to write some code in your CPP file as well. So just click on no here and open up your CPP file. And now just paste this code right here, which I've given in the description down below. Just copy it from there and just paste it in your application. You may need to change a couple of things. So this right here, this is your project name. So this should be same as your project name right here. And this right here, it should be same as your file name, the header file name. Also this function type right here, this is like void main right here. So this main, just replace it with the name of your entry point. So by entry point I mean the entry point that we just defined right here, the main entry point. You can just enter anything else here, but make sure this function name and this entry point name are the same. Alright, so now you should be able to start your application right there. There's nothing there, but you should be able to start it. Okay, so now let's actually design this form a little. So I'm just gonna make it bigger I'm gonna add a label and just click on properties here. If you don't have properties, you can always go to view and just go to properties window right here. So it should bring you to the properties window. And just select your label, and I'm gonna name this label as heading label, and I'm gonna give it a text, and I'm gonna change the font as well. Now it's not necessary to make it exactly like this, but just make sure you have a text box. Just drag it in, make it multi-line, and make it bigger like that. Just make sure you have a text box and 3 buttons. So the first button, just go to name and name it as speak button. This is gonna be your pause button, and this one is gonna be your stop button. Also give them the text you want. Okay, so let's give the button speak text, the second one as pause, and the third one as stop. And as we have done that, let's finally dive into the code and see what we have to do in order to convert text into speech. Alright, so go back to your Solution Explorer and right click on your .h file and click on view code. And now you should get this code right here. You can minimize this code if you want. I'm going to minimize this region. Now just double click on your speak button to create an event for it. Just speak button click event. So when the speak button is clicked, but before we can do anything here, we need to add a reference to system speech. So right click on references and add a reference. Now just go down and search until you find system.speech. Just tick this box right here and click on OK. Alright, so now our application or our project is using system.speech. And now we can actually start using some things in system.speech to convert text to speech. So first thing we'll do is we will create something called a speech synthesizer. So just type in system : speech : synthesis : speech synthesizer, and give it this variable name. So speech synthesizer is a class, so you can create an instance. So we'll give it a name called speech synthesizer. You can give it any name you want actually, and just end the line with a semicolon. And now in the next line, what you need to do is basically say that we have to speak the text that is present in the text box. So just write here speech synthesizer dot speak, and the brackets what you need to enter is the text box text. So basically just click on the text box. We're not given it a name yet, so we'll give it a name, text box. I cannot come up with a better name than this right now, so alright, you can give it a name you want actually. And now let's enter the name of our text box, which is text box, and then enter an arrow operator and type in text. So what this will do is it will make the speech synthesizer speak the text in your text box. So let's press play and let's see what happens. So we press speak, nothing happens. If you enter anything like hello world, not hello world, hello world, speak.
Hello world. Hello world.
As you can see, it speaks hello world. But one disadvantage with this is that you cannot do anything else while speaking. So basically if you press speak,
hello world, hello world,
you cannot press any of these buttons. As you can see, while speaking you cannot press any of these buttons. And if I just click on speak again,
hello world,
try to close it, as you can see it just kind of gets suspended, kind of like delay. You can see that delay right there. To fix that, all we need to do is just type in speak async. There we go. That should actually fix the problem. But another thing we can notice with speak async in this way is that if we type in hello world, we don't hear anything. Yeah, what happened to our speech? As you can see, the threads are coming, exiting, creating, exiting a lot. But we cannot hear anything. So what's happening? So the thing is that basically after speak async is called, speak async basically starts to speak and returns it. So And as there's no instruction after that, the function just returns, and as this variable was defined in this scope, the variable gets destroyed and the speech synthesizer gets destroyed and we cannot hear anything. So to fix this issue, we need to move this variable out of this scope to a higher scope. So just cut it out of there. And you can just paste your speech synthesizer definition here. And now when you press play and you enter anything, hello world, and when you press speak,
Hello world.
you can press buttons while speaking. So
Hello world.
as you can see, you can exit the application while speaking as well. So we have done the basic system of speaking, and now let's actually focus on pausing and stopping. So stop is very simple. So all we need to do in stop is just enter here speech synthesizer dot speak async cancel all. So just do that, and it should actually cancel all of our speak async stuff. So yeah, let's press play, and as we can see, when we enter anything here like hello world,
Hello.
as you can see, it just stops it.
Hello world.
As you can see, it just stops it. Now let's work on the pause button. So just double click on it, and just for readability, I'm just gonna move it up like that. And the pause button, what we'll do is we'll create another variable, just quick little variable here. Bool is paused, and that's it. You can also set it to false if you want. And here what we'll do is we'll check if it is paused. So if is paused, actually let's rename this variable to paused. So basically we are saying that if it is paused, then speech synthesizer dot resume, else speech synthesizer dot pause. And after that, what we need to do is also set the variable to something, right? So if we have resumed, then we have to set paused equals to false or resumed, and here we have to set paused equals to true. Alright, so now let's press play and let's see if it works. Type in hello world as always, and let's try it out.
Hello world.
As you can see, we can pause now.
Hello world. Hello world.
As you can see. But one bug you may notice is that if you type in hello world and if you press speak,
Hello world.
and if we pause and if we press speak again at the time, then as you can see, it does not speak again, right? And let's click on unpause again.
World. Hello world.
As you can see, it double speaks it. So it's not really sounding right. So before we actually call the speak async function, we need to check if it is paused. And if it is paused, then basically what we need to do is paused equals to false, and before that we can do speech synthesizer dot resume. Also right here we'll enter one more statement, speech synthesizer dot speak async cancel all. If you press play and if you click on speak,
Hello world. Hello world. Hello world. Hello world.
as you can see, the speak async cancel all actually just cancels everything and just restarts it again. And the bug with speak and pause,
Hello world. Hello world.
as you can see,
Hello world. Hello world.
so the bug is gone now. And just for looks, you can do one more thing here. So after you actually resume it here, you can actually change the text of the pause button, right? So pause button text equals to pause. Now in case you're wondering why we are using this arrow operator instead of the dot operator, it is because pause button is a pointer, and with pointers we use arrow operator. And we can actually copy the statement here and here, So when we pause, we can set it to resume. The text on it to resume. Now as we can see, if we enter anything like you are watching solved games, alright?
You are watching solved games.
Yes. And if we pause
You
it,
are watching
as you can see, it just turns to resume.
solved games.
So it's very cool. So that's how you convert text to speech in C++. If you like the video, please do leave a like and also support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click on the bell notification icon to get video notifications just like this every week. And now I'll meet you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.